Everybody thinks downtown Denver is the heart of the city, but the truth is that the good stuff is everywhere around it. The neighborhood centers inside the city of Denver itself, and the small town downtowns all over the metro, each with its own restaurants, breweries, and weekend energy. So today, I am ranking the 10 best downtowns in and around Denver to actually live near, counting down to my personal number one at the end. I'm going to give you my honest feedback on each area and would love for you to weigh in down in the comments. Before we get to number 10, let's talk about downtown Denver itself. We've talked a lot about downtown on this channel, but of all the major metropolitan downtowns across the country, this one certainly feels a little off on a weekday right now. It's quieter than a city this size should be. The reality is that downtown is still recovering from the COVID years. More people are heading back into the office than at any point since the pandemic, and foot traffic is picking up, but it's still working through a bit of a hangover. Unfortunately, big office towers sometimes sit half empty. Some buildings are feeling a little tired in downtown Denver, and that street-level energy still isn't all the way back, with downtown's office vacancy sitting around 38% right now. So the city's energy spread outward into Denver neighborhood centers and small-town main streets across the metro. That's where people are spending their Saturdays and walking to dinner now, and that's the idea behind this ranking. And stick around for my number one downtown on this list because it's the best example of where all that energy landed. All right, let's kick this off. At risk of having people yell at me in the comments saying this isn't the metro area, I'm going number 10 to downtown Evergreen. The rest on the list are more Denver metro focused, but I wanted to add Evergreen to this list because of how easy it is to get to from Denver. It's that mountain feel without the 90-minute to 2-hour drive. And Evergreen does have a little downtown area, a Main Street drag that's getting better and better. A Saturday here starts with a walk around Evergreen Lake. It's a flat 1.25-mile trail, perfect for kids and dogs. If you want something more strenuous, there are a ton of great hikes in the area. I'm up there all the time. One of my favorites is Alderfer Three Sisters Park. There are a few different trails, but all have incredible views, and if you're up early enough, you'll spot lots of wildlife. Either way, whether you're up hiking or just walking around Evergreen Lake, when you're done with a morning workout, you drop into Evergreen for coffee on the historic downtown drag, tucked into a canyon. In fact, Evergreen Lake is in walking distance to this stretch of shops and restaurants, so you can get some extra steps in if you'd like. This stretch of Evergreen was founded in the 1800s, and many of the original structures are still standing, so it has a very cool mountain mining feel. Now, if you're not up early enough for coffee and breakfast, there are plenty of lunch and dinner options too here. Evergreen has a growing dining scene with everything from elevated bar food to health cafes and bistros. In the summer, you'll find live music on patios or bars, live performances at the local theater down the road, outdoor events around the lake, and so much more programming. The drive is about 30 to 45 minutes west into the foothills, depending on traffic and, of course, where you are in the metro area, with a small downtown full of rustic shops and local art galleries. It's about as close to a mountain town as you will find this close to Denver. We'll get to number 9 on the list in just a second, but if living in Evergreen is of interest, to get that mountain living without the long commute to Denver, you're looking at a median home price of about $900,000. This is very valuable and highly desirable real estate. That rough price range will get you 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, 3 to 4 bedrooms, maybe a good parcel of land, an acre or two, depending on where you are in Evergreen. Of course, there are homes, townhomes, and condos priced lower than that $900,000 median, smaller homes in good condition that may need some cosmetic updates. And then there's the luxury homes of Evergreen, some absolutely stunning mountain retreats, 7,000 plus square feet that can approach $8 million in some places. Very special homes. Now, number 9 brings us back down the mountain and into the southern suburbs to a main street servicing the burbs. Number 9 is downtown Littleton. Downtown Littleton has turn-of-the-century brick buildings, antique shop windows, and a handful of relaxed, locally owned restaurants and bars that feel more like neighborhood hangouts. It's where the locals go. It has the feel of a classic small-town main street, and I mean that as a compliment. It is really charming. There are nods to its 1800s beginnings. Town Hall here was built in the 20s and is still an important piece of this city. It's now a local theater putting on some great productions. You can catch a show and then walk to one of the many local bars, restaurants, or the local distillery. Shout out to Rocker Spirits. It's still growing though. The events and overall energy, they're getting there. Littleton doesn't draw people from all over the metro the way some other places higher on this list do, but if you ask the people who live here, they'll tell you it's the best little downtown around. One thing that's easy to miss is the Littleton Downtown Light Rail Station. You can hop on the D line and get into Denver without dealing with traffic or parking. And keep that that in mind because one downtown hire on this list built its reputation around this same idea. Now, Littleton is a big city. This is just one little corner of Littleton, but the median price citywide is in the mid-600s with plenty of neighborhoods offering something different within just about 10 minutes from Main Street. Whether you're looking for an economical condo or a larger family home, Littleton has some fantastic options. Before we continue with the ranking, if you're moving to the Denver Metro and trying to figure out which of these downtowns fits you best, that's what I help people with every single week. I'll walk you through your options so you end up in the right spot the first time. My contact info is in the description. Please reach out. Okay, let's head to the next one. Number 8 is Main Street Parker. Now, if you know Parker, you know this is a burb's burb. Master plan communities, quality schools, parks, pools, trails, lots of big box stores. Not that we don't love our Costco's and our Targets and fast casual chains, but Main Street Parker is a nice reprieve from what's typical across Parker. Main Street is just off of Parker Road on the east side of town. Parker Road, by the way, is a major thoroughfare through the region. But when you pull off onto Main Street, the feeling changes from highway to local hangout. One of the biggest draws is the weekend farmers market, which closes the street to traffic on Sundays as vendors show up with fresh produce, flowers, and food, and the whole place fills up with people. It's the kind of morning where you stroll the street, grab some ice cream, and slow things down for a bit. This is a family downtown through and through. There's a playground right off of Main Street, so when the kids are done walking, they can burn off some energy while you finish your coffee. Live music is a big part of life on Main Street too in the summer, as are the local restaurants, taverns, delis, tacos, and my favorite Poulette Bake Shop is now on Main Street. The hype is real for these pastries. Please go check them out. Main Street is a big draw for people moving to Parker. I think Parker real estate offers some fantastic bang for your buck. Some of the older homes in Parker built in the 90s are in good condition, offer over 2,000 square feet, mature landscaping in the $600,000 range. New construction options start in the $700,000 range, and it goes up from there, including luxury multi-million-dollar communities like the prestigious Colorado Golf Club, some of the coolest homes on the east side of town. But the bread and butter of Parker are master plan communities, and Main Street is a perfect fit into that lifestyle. Now, the next one is even further from Denver. Turns out that's its biggest strength. Our 7th downtown is Castle Rock. Similarly to Parker, this downtown sits in the heart of a master plan community, but it sits below the city's namesake. You can actually hike up Castle Rock and then pop into downtown for lunch. Wilcox and Perry Streets are the heart of downtown, lined with local shops, restaurants, views of the Butte you just hiked. Experience frequent farmers markets, group workouts, and lots of other programming throughout the year, including the Star Lighting, a big event in the fall where the town lights up a big star on the rock for the holiday season, complete with a fireworks show and festival. And this kind of entertainment is necessary because Castle Rock is the furthest south in the metro area, the furthest from the downtown Denver core, and so you need a little bit of life down here. Downtown Castle Rock provides just that. For being this far from Denver, there's always something to do in just a few walkable blocks. You don't need reservations or much of a plan. You can spend a Saturday wandering around and easily fill an afternoon. The energy goes beyond downtown, too. Castle Rock has been one of the fastest growing towns in Douglas County. The outlet mall brings in shoppers from across South Metro. Median homes here usually land in the mid to high 600s with plenty of options from townhomes to large single family, and there's lots of new construction on the way here. Castle Rock is a great fit if you want a scenic town center where you don't have to drive into Denver every weekend to find something to do. From here, the list starts moving back toward the city, and number 6 is the neighborhood people never seem to leave. For number 6, I'm talking about Highland Square, the heart of Northwest Denver. There are morning coffee crowds, a farmer's market that brings out the neighborhood, cafes with full patios from breakfast through happy hour. It's one of the best little pockets in the city for food and drink with a few of my favorite casual restaurants in the city. Maybe the best chicken wings in Denver at Fire on the Mountain. One of Denver's most popular breweries, Cerebral, has an incredible space here in a repurposed church. And you can't talk about Highland Square without mentioning Blue Pan Pizza, Detroit-style pizza and cold beers. Absolutely the best. You can spend an afternoon hitting the boutiques and finish off at a cocktail bar or with dinner, which is one of the reasons I have my number 1 spot on the list. By the way, I'm saving my favorite for last, so stick around for that. Now, Highland Square is part of the broader Highlands region, and there are a few other parts of Northwest Denver that probably deserve a spot on this list, like Lohi's upscale bar and restaurant scene, or Tennyson's walkable stretch of boutique shops, restaurants, parks. Even Sloan's Lake has a growing scene of entertainment south of the park. Wherever you land in Northwest Denver or the Highlands, you'll be in close distance to the action. These Denver neighborhoods have a very urban feel and of course come with a price tag higher than what you might see in some of the other areas on the list. Average single-family home prices here around $900,000. And you might see an older brick bungalow or Victorian with 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. And of course, it can just go up from there. There are more expensive, larger homes, including some newer construction homes with ADUs or mother-in-law suites, you may know them as, in the $1.5 to $3 million range. Smaller homes can pop up in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. It's a great fit if you want city energy and something happening all the time. Okay, so our next one is just outside the city, and it's the biggest comeback story on the list. Number 5 is Old Town Arvada, and it has changed in a big way. I've loved watching this transformation. Over the last 5 to 10 years, it's gone from a quiet downtown to a lively, walkable spot with local restaurants, live music, year-round events, and even a few well-known Denver restaurants opening second locations because they see where it's headed. But the biggest reason it's this high on my list is the train. The G line runs from Old Town Arvada straight into Union Station. This is the light rail. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes, so you get a walkable downtown and an easy ride into the city without fighting traffic. Homes in this particular area land in the high 500s to mid 600s, and prices have cooled a little bit from a year ago. It's a great choice if you want to walk to dinner and still have an easy trip into Denver. Once you've spent enough time sitting on I-70 traffic, that train starts looking even better. All right, let's head outside the metro, and it's well worth the drive. On to number 4 is downtown Boulder, and it does its own thing. I know it's technically outside the Denver metro that many people know, but if you live anywhere around here, you're probably going to end up on Pearl Street, so it earned a spot on the list. Pearl Street is a pedestrian mall with well over 100 restaurants and shops. It's the heart of Boulder, absolutely gorgeous, outdoorsy, a little granola. I mean that in the best way. I love the feel up here. CU Boulder keeps the area full of energy during the school year, and there's enough to keep it going through the rest of the year. Summer is absolutely excellent on Pearl Street. There are boutique hotels, great local restaurants, and one of the most walkable downtowns you'll find on this list. Now, one trade-off is the drive. Boulder is roughly 30 miles from Denver, so 30, 40 minutes without traffic. Longer, of course, when traffic picks up on US 36. Price is the other trade-off. Homes here usually land in the mid-800s to low 900s, even after prices softened a bit. Boulder is a strong option if you want a college town with its own personality and don't mind being farther from Denver. And when I say that, I mean kind of the core Boulder area. It's a bigger city and plenty more to talk about besides this downtown area. All right, we finally hit the top 3, and this is where the list really takes off, starting with one of the busiest corners of the city. I'm talking about Rhino, the River North Arts District. Colorful murals cover old brick warehouses. You've got a jazz bar next to a brewery, next to an art gallery, next to trendy restaurants, and the whole neighborhood is buzzing on a Saturday afternoon. It's hard to believe just how far this pocket of Denver has come in the last decade. When I moved here 13 years ago, this neighborhood was just remnants of an old industrial park. Just north of downtown, Rhino has become a hub for the city's food, nightlife, and art. You can spend an afternoon here, roll right into dinner, then end the night at a brewery without leaving a few blocks. Places like Denver Central Market are right in the middle of it, with craft breweries and cocktail bars all around. Because Rhino grew from that industrial area into a residential neighborhood, you'll find mostly condos built out in some of the older buildings, really cool industrial-style lofts, and then there are lots of newer infill townhomes within Rhino proper. They are a great option if you don't want a ton of landscaping, or you maybe travel a lot, you simply want that lock-and-leave city lifestyle. Prices usually range from the low 500s to 700s depending on the building and where you're looking. Of course, there are options above and below depending on size and condition. But Rhino is really your choice if you want to live in the middle of one of Denver's best food and social scenes, where you can walk almost everywhere and barely need your car. The next one is a completely different vibe, and it comes with a much higher price tag. So number 2 is Cherry Creek North. This is Denver's luxury district, and it earns that reputation. It's a walkable area about 16 blocks filled with designer boutiques, art galleries, upscale spas, great restaurants, high-end office buildings are mixed right in. Just a block away is the Cherry Creek Shopping Center, one of the region's premier malls, with Nordstrom and Neiman Marcus anchoring the center. Some people call it the Beverly Hills of Denver. G-Wagons, Ferraris, Rolexes, flashy corner of a typically casual city. Now, I've covered Cherry Creek North in other videos, but Cherry Creek is one of the few places in the Denver area where you will see people actually dress up for a night out on the town. Now, I personally wouldn't go as far as calling it the Beverly Hills of Denver. We're far from that scale of LA luxury, but it's pretty nice. Within Denver, this is where so much commercial real estate investment is going. Large banks, tech firms, they have decided to anchor their Denver offices here in Cherry Creek as opposed to downtown that we were talking about earlier. It's a much more appealing option, especially when hosting clients and guests from around the world, as those visitors have some excellent luxury hotel options. And speaking of luxury, in the blocks north of the commercial and shopping district is some of the more expensive real estate you'll find in the Denver area, and for good reason. You are in walking distance to everything Cherry Creek North has to offer, everything we just discussed. You will typically find high-end townhomes, duplexes, and even some single-family, albeit on smaller lots than many other corners of Denver. Think high-end finishes, low-maintenance lots, rooftop decks, tree-lined streets. You also find some of Denver's best luxury condos in some coveted buildings here. Cherry Creek North median prices sit at $1.7 million, with some luxury townhomes and penthouses approaching $10 million. And now our number one, the downtown I choose over every spot on the list if you were coming to visit me. Welcome to downtown Golden. Now, it wasn't easy to put this at number one. I love all of the other places I have on the list. There are some that didn't even make this list that I enjoy going to, but I put this at the number one spot because it's just so Colorado. People float down Clear Creek on inner tubes, climb out, and walk a block to a downtown patio for a beer still dripping wet. That's a normal Saturday in Golden, and it's why this is my favorite downtown in the metro. I love taking people here in the summer when they're visiting from out of town. Golden sits at the mouth of Clear Creek Canyon, with Clear Creek running right through downtown, and that one feature really changes everything. I was up there just a few days ago watching it all happen, and it's one of those places you have to see for yourself. And then there's the beer, because this is Golden. Ever heard of the slogan, "As cold as the Rockies"? The Coors Brewery is a major part of the town and surrounding infrastructure, not something that's just tucked away on the edge of town. And I do think that touring the Big Beer Factory at least once is kind of a rite of passage for those moving to Colorado. You can tour the brewery, grab a beer in the hospitality lounge, and then walk downtown and keep the day going. The heart of it all these days is the Golden Mill, a multi-level food hall where you can pour your own beer from self-serve taps, hang out on the rooftop with views of Table Mountain. Solid food options too. The sushi here upstairs is actually very good. It's still open daily, stays busy, feeling like the town's living room. But Golden is more than breweries, of course. Washington Avenue is lined with ice cream shops, cafes, boutiques, art galleries, a Saturday farmers market, and it's all set beneath the Colorado School of Mines. Homes here come with a Mountain Town premium. The median home price in the city of Golden is $900,000. If you want the best all-around walkable downtown in the Denver area, take a look here. It's fun, complete, minutes from the city. That's why it's my number one. The best downtown may not be the one at the top of my list, but it's the one that delivers the life you want. Get that part right, and the price, the commute, your weekends, they all start to make sense. So if you're trying to match one of these downtowns to your budget and the way you want to live, feel free to reach out today. My email is ryan@ryanhaarer.com. Bring me your short list and I'll help you figure out which ones fit before you spend a weekend touring the wrong neighborhoods. And if you've already picked your downtown, but you're not sure whether to move now or wait, I've linked a video that breaks down the time of year that can swing a Denver deal. If you're buying or selling in the next year, I'd watch that before you make your move. I'm Ryan Haarer, your Denver real estate agent. I'll see you on the next one.